In this video, I want to take a look at a game which I think illustrates very clearly the idea that uh, the same idea can work in a very specific position, but not necessarily a move or a few moves later in the game or a few moves earlier in the game. And well, I think you're gonna see an example of that right now. So I had the white pieces, and we have a Ponziani opening. And here my opponent played bishop c5, which is a mistake. There are a few moves here, the main line being d5, although knight f6 and f5 are also playable. After bishop c5, white just has a pretty big advantage, almost winning in fact. So after d4, you take, and well, you have the control of the center. Bishop check, knight c3, knight f6, attacking the pawn on e4, so I defend it. And here my opponent castled, which according to the engine is an inaccuracy, but I don't think it's that big a deal. Although, I mean, if you find this whole line, then okay, maybe it's a pretty big deal. e5, maybe not the most difficult move to find. Although, in a real game, rook e8 or queen e7, pinning the pawn, and maybe castles. And then maybe you can move the knight. It doesn't seem like white has an overwhelming advantage. But after knight d5, which is the engine recommendation, you have this bishop sacrifice, and knight g5 check. If king g8, well, you can't stop checkmate without sacrificing your queen. You could also do that a move earlier. You could sacrifice the queen right now, which is the best move according to the engine. And here, well, you have this interesting situation where you have your pawn up as white after this cute move a3, forcing bishop a5, and now castles. And while the knight can retreat, you have 3 minor pieces for the queen. So you would think that this shouldn't be that great for white. I mean, obviously white is better, but is this really just like completely winning? And the answer is probably yes, because, well, this rook and this bishop are doing absolutely nothing. The minor pieces have to coordinate against the queen, and I just think this is easier to play for white than it is for black. So I castled, and my opponent played d5. And well, here I played e5 and putting the question to the knight, which is a very good defender of the king on g8, and also opening up this diagonal for my light squared bishop. And when I first saw this move, I thought it was a bad move, but actually it's the best move according to the engines. I just don't like putting the knight just back on the, not its original square, but just kind of like setting up for Fisher random. And well, here I played what the engines call a blunder. Bishop takes check, and now the same idea doesn't work. What the engines recommend is queen b3, and after something like bishop e6, a3. But this check, well, I thought about it for quite a while. You have to take it. If you don't take it, then you're just much worse. At least here you have some well, I wouldn't even call it compensation. You just have a bishop for a pawn, and yes, it might look scary, but with a good play, black should be fine. So I gave a check with the knight. Here my opponent played king g6, which is a blunder, and king g8 is the correct move. And well, again, I think I have another video in which actually king g6 is the correct move, and it's still very good for white, but it's not checkmate. So again, you have to really just calculate and look at the very specific position to know which move is the correct decision. So here, after king g8, queen h5 just doesn't work because there's bishop f5, and you are covering the h7 square. And if you play something like queen d3, you don't play f5 because that just loses. But just g6, and black is just fine. Now again, it does look scary because, well, you have these dark squared weaknesses. The knight on e8 is defending the g7 square, but after king g6, well, I played f4 because I didn't see an immediate win. Now the engines call this a blunder because it just goes from like +5 to like +2. So queen d3 apparently is the better move. And after bishop f5, queen g3, and there's different threats. So the most obvious one is 96 check, winning the queen. And if you move the queen out of the d file, well, then knight takes d5 is just crushing. And if you move the queen and still defending the pawn, then something like queen d7, you have 92, and then you're coming here with the knight, and well, you're just getting mated. So for example, let's make a bad move, you just get checkmated. So I just find it interesting how the engines say that this is a blunder, but then the next move, when I push this pawn again, now it's all of a sudden a really good move. And here my opponent found the best move, f6. And again, f5 check, which is what the engines like. And here my opponent played bishop takes. Now, if you want to stop the video and try to figure out what you would play with the white pieces, so I will assume that you have paused the video, and here the correct move and pretty much the only move to win is rook takes on f5. Other moves just maintain equality, and well, here my opponent captured the rook, and now you can see the evaluation just going up. So it's mate in 2. If you haven't seen it, just pause the video and try to figure it out. So here, queen d3 check, king g4, and mate. Now what my opponent should have done is, to take the knight instead. And here, rook takes is pretty strong. King h7 is losing, so you kind of have to go to f7, but this is still losing, although it's not that simple. I mean, it's still a game. And thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.